heard some noises again. Hello?
Another short clip by a channel called Advale. The uploader states underneath the video that he caught the following apparition one night after he heard inexplicable noises from the basement. What do you think? Some of you might know the feeling should one hear unexplained sounds and noises from the lower floor. The same happened to this young guy. After grabbing his camera, he captured this disembodied voice. Could he even capture a shadow figure down there? These are definitely legs. The following is a recording that was shared by the profile of Vickers Hill Armac. A person in a car noticed that a strange person in some very antique looking clothing was walking on the left side of the street. The channel simply wrote, "Is this a ghost on Vickers Hill Armac?" This was the moment a shadowy figure in what appeared to be Georgian attire was spotted walking across the road before disappearing into the grounds of St. Patrick's Church of Ireland Cathedral. This material was even used on a news show on BBC Two. Some people, however, are not sure at what we are looking at here. Was it a ghost? Yes, say some. Others are sure that this was just a dressed-up person, who was attending a local conference perhaps. And they also state that there is an entrance on the right side that we cannot see from this angle, which would explain why this person just disappears into the wall. What do you think? A ghostly figure? Or just an unfortunate recording? The next was forwarded by Sam, who tells me that he came across a really intriguing capture that user Miss New Booty had shared in the paranormal section of Reddit. On first glance, one could think that looks solely odd due to the subject moving a lot. However, that's not the case. Based on the uploader's comments, she states, "I was taking a picture of my daughter, and when I looked back at the picture, I was shocked to see what looks like a creepy face. She looks nothing like the face in the image, and the head looks massive on top of her tiny 5-year-old body. My daughter was telling me of nightmares she was having recently. And maybe this could be the lady she's seeing." Yes, I agree. Pretty hard to say what exactly is going on here. You might think of a double exposure first, but Miss Booty states that she has never seen that girl, that she's not part of any other photos. Also, she swears it has never been edited. Could it be the scary lady from her daughter's dreams? Impossible to know. It's certainly a creepy capture. However, it ended up looking like that, wouldn't you say? The next video was shared by a couple of parents who noticed that something quite mysterious was captured on the recording of their baby camera. They didn't notice it at first, but at some point were basically forced to acknowledge that something wasn't quite normal. A strange white object appeared right next to the crib in which their little toddler was sleeping. They thought it might have been a bug at first, but in the end weren't quite sure if maybe something else was going on here. Does it look like a bug to you? The father said that it might have been one of the deceased grandparents who was visiting the kid, and maybe leaning into the picture and looking at the grandkid. Is this possible? Or was it something different? Video was recorded and sent to me by Glenn. He contacted me via Instagram and stated that one night he had captured a shape in the fields. He got out of his car, walked up to it, and it apparently looked like a man on fire. But he could see right through the shape. When he decided to drive away, the being disappeared. Let's check it out. Now, when I had seen the video at first, I thought it was a bonfire or the entrance to a cave. But this shape was not behaving like a regular bonfire. In fact, the flames are not moving like they normally would. But there's some odd movement for sure. See how this being appears to lift its arms? Glenn sent me a second video, which shows his capture once more, and I noticed a similar light on the lower left frame of this recording. It appears to have the same fire-like texture as the shape. Could it maybe be the car lights? What really stands out to me again is the movement of the fire creature. Please let me know your explanation. The following is a recording that was shared by a man who started documenting some really unusual activity in his new house. He had just moved in recently, and ever since had trouble sleeping at night. Seeing shadows and weird apparitions was nothing new for him. That's why he started recording these incidents now. The tone of his voice clearly indicates that he was freaked out a little bit.
What the
Besides this item being moved up there, however, there was something even more terrifying. A shadow apparition that was standing in one of the other rooms, and he didn't see it. That makes this even more creepy. Was it maybe the reason for all this ghostly activity? Or was it just visiting him that night? Certainly really terrifying if you think about it. If the man moved houses after this is unknown. The following was recorded by a group of students who had a late night class. Besides fooling around, they wanted to investigate a local urban legend, which said that a spirit is roaming this old building every once in a while. At least that's what the video description said. I'm sure some of you know how boring it can get when one has to spend time during a break while at school in the evening. I suppose these young people had the same thought, so they prepared the room and invited anything into our realm that wanted to visit them. So after a short ceremony, they checked different corners of the room and sure enough, captured this. Now the students say that they believe to have captured a ghost, but what's your opinion? To me it looks almost too good to be true. Just a hoax? Time to follow one of our favorite investigators, Dark Ghost Paranormal, to one of his prior locations where he was attacked by a poltergeist. This being apparently had thrown a knife at him at some point of the investigation. He calls it the House of the Demon and tells us about the former owners that heard screams and moaning in there for many years. After setting up his equipment and starting the investigation, it doesn't take long until an old telephone that was stored in a piece of luggage became active again. Strange and unsettling. Later that night, Dark is contacting the demon directly with his spirit box.
Друзья снова зазвонил телефон. Какая-то музыка играет.
And while all of this bone-chilling activity is unfolding, stationary camera 2 can capture the following anomaly. Proof of the demon's presence, perhaps? If you can, please watch the whole investigation on Dark's channel. This Instagram story was recorded by Camila Sanchez while she was on her way to party with a good friend of hers. The clip got recently featured on Bremen and caught my attention. The two girls were singing and having a good time, while a friend of theirs was getting them to their destination of choice, which was a party of another friend that night. As many young people like to do, they captured a live story on their journey. At this point, I want you to notice how fast the car is moving. Nevertheless, the camera still was able to capture an odd image on the other side of the car window. What on earth did Camilla capture that night? What appears to be a girl is hovering outside the window and peeking inside the car. A spirit? Camilla could never fully explain what happened this night during the car ride. The following video was shared by Bruce Edwards. He noticed that something pretty creepy was unfolding in a news recording. He captured it off of his TV. He states that there was a report about a fatal scooter accident by channel Fox News. Noticed that a creepy figure appeared in the field, right next to the site of the accident. Bruce even goes so far to believe that this could have been one of the black-eyed children. Others say that it might have been the Grim Reaper, or some form of ghostly or even demonic presence. The area of the accident was not accessible to the public at the time. So, what else could it have been in your opinion? Really unsettling. This clip was captured by a night guard who heard inexplicable noises in the middle of his shift. Of course, he grabbed his cell phone and went investigating. Could he capture something mysterious? A man was patrolling a school and he was sure that no soul was around, but suddenly he noticed the voice of a child. He kept recording for a little bit, but couldn't find anything unusual. It was later when he checked out the recording with another colleague, and they realized there might have been something else in this school. Was it the spirit of a child that is haunting this building? I think we will not be able to say. The following was shared by Laura Hannigan. She and her fiance also noticed that something quite terrifying was captured in the bedroom of their little baby daughter. It was captured shortly after the two had put the baby to sleep. And it's safe to say that none of the two remained in the baby's room. However, the camera might have proven otherwise. There is a pair of legs walking by. The legs of a ghost, perhaps. The couple literally had no idea to whom they could have belonged to, and it freaked them out quite a lot. The young woman even comments on this event on her profile.
It never had crossed my mind until I read a comment that said check the attic, and then it hit me like, holy, we have an attic in our closet. So he goes up there and doesn't see anything really out of the ordinary. No signs of, I guess, a squatter really. But he did find an unopened can of food.
So, do you think that we became witness of a really paranormal event here? Or what else was going on? A squatter, perhaps? That's even more creepy. Maybe it's a good idea to move this place as soon as possible.